it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I have some new polishes from Olive F Polish. I have their new-ish Seedlings collection. As I'm sure you saw from the thumbnail, the Seedlings collection very much has very strong spring vibes. This collection was for the brand spring release. In the Seedlings collection, we have 5 polishes, 2 of which are brand new to the brand. The color story on this collection is very much spring vibes, and yes, I know we are gearing up for summer season, but I really wanted to show these polishes for those of you who love pastel creams. The Seedlings bundle is available right now on the Olive F Polish. At the time of recording, Olive F Polish also has a clearance sale happening, and they have a ton of shades on the website that are currently on clearance. If you would like to pick up anything in this collection or anything else on the website, you can use my affiliate code, which is Nicole Loves Nails, to save 10% off everything on the Olive F Polish website. All of the polishes featured in today's video were gifted to me by Olive F Polish with no obligation to post. This video is not sponsored, but thank you very much, Walker, for sending these over to me. So as always, in the description box, links to where you can pick the polishes up, links to the brand's website, social media pages, my social media pages, and of course some timestamps. Let's just get right into this video. The first polish up is called Tend, and the brand describes this one as a very light pastel green cream. Tend had a really good but slightly thinner formula. This is a super pale green. I would say that this is such a pale green in color that it almost looks like it's a green tinged white as opposed to like a green. I could definitely see some folks seeing this shade and thinking it's more of a white with very strong green undertones, but I personally do agree with the brand on calling this one a very pale pastel green. This applied really nicely. I felt the formula was a slightly thinner than some of the other colors in the collection. This was the only shade in the whole release that I definitely needed a third coat for, but I do think if you went for slightly thicker coats than I did, you might be able to get this one opaque in 2. I had a little bit of dark spots in 2 coats, so I did add a third and it looked perfect. My swatches show Tend in 3 coats. I did find that this dried down fairly glossy on its own, so for my swatches, I didn't actually use any top coat because I was just recording the live swatches. I still would, however, recommend using top coat for wearing this one because even though it dries down very glossy, you still want top coat. Super easy removal. I did not personally experience any staining. The next polish up is called Aster, and Olive F describes this one as a bold minty blue cream. So these polishes have technically been sitting on my to be swatch rack for a hot minute.
My bad, I'm sorry.
So I did notice that for this shade, I did have a little bit of ugly bottle syndrome. There's just like a little bit of kind of like bluish looking pigment specks on mine. So when I was doing my live swatch for this one, I did have like a small streak of blue pigment when I did my first coat. Once I saw that when I was doing the live swatch, I ran this one through my nail polish shaker again, just to make sure everything was nice and dispersed. And I didn't see again any of that kind of pigment as I was putting this on my nail. I think the actual problem was I didn't give it a good enough shake for something that was sitting down for so long. I think that was the actual issue and not a problem with the polish itself. So aside from that one issue, this had a really fantastic formula, applied super nicely, very evenly. For such a pale shade, I was really shocked at how well this polish applied. I do find it interesting that the brand describes this one as a blue mint. I feel like I usually put mint in my mind as more of a green color. So in my notes, I describe this one as more of kind of a sea foamy green. It's very blue heavy, but it also has like a little bit of green in it as well. This one did have a slightly thicker formula, not quite a 1 coater, but it was pretty close to being one. My swatches are gonna be showing this one in 2 coats. This applied easily, self-leveled perfectly, and also dries down glossy on its own. So for my live swatch, I'm not wearing top coat, but again, wear top coat. Once again, as someone who is not in fact a very strong pastel loving person, I was really surprised that I really digged how nicely this polish looked. I kind of wonder if for pastel polishes in particular, if when I first started wearing them, if they had formulas like these, I might not dislike them as strongly as I currently do. Because every time I swatch this brand's pastel shades, I always heavily question why I don't like pastels. The next polish up is called Veil, and the brand describes Veil as being a very pale pastel blue with a hint of gray. Veil had a shockingly smooth formula. Even though I know Olive F Polish always has like 10 out of 10 formulas every single time, I was very much expecting this one to apply terribly. Super chalky and just like trash. It did not. Self-levels incredibly well and was only a 2 coater on me. So for my live swatch, you're gonna see me applying this one in 3 coats, but I accidentally dug my brush into my nail while I was applying it, and I kind of created a little bald spot because I was like, in there. So if I hadn't done that, this would have been a solid 2 coater. I will still call it a 2 to 3 coater depending on application, because if you dig your brush in, you're gonna wanna add a 3rd coat. But if you're not going, you know, Hulk Armstrong on your nail, then it's not in fact going to be a 3-coater. So color-wise for this shade, I thought this was really interesting. This is a super pale blue. I feel like it almost has a white undertone because of how pale it is. I do feel like because it has such a strong kind of white, can white be an undertone? I really don't know. But because it has such like a strong white undertone, that kind of grayishness comes out really strongly. I feel like a color like this, depending on your lighting, it's either gonna look like a super whited out blue, or it's gonna look like a very grayed out blue. And again, even though this color is not my speed, I still was incredibly impressed by the formulation of the shade. So my live swatch is showing this one in 3 coats. No top coat. It dries down very glossy on its own, but make sure to wear top coat if you're going to actually wear the shade. The next polish up is called Terre, and the brand describes this one as a dusty sage green cream. Terre also had a fantastic formula, buttery smooth application, self-levels perfectly. This one was like slightly on the thicker side, but the kind of thickness that makes for a more opaque cream as opposed to being like overly thick and hard to apply. I do agree with the brand's color description for this one. It is very much a dusty sage green. I wouldn't say that it has so much gray in it to give it that dustiness that I would say it looks kind of like a gray with greenish kind of undertones. It is very strongly in that sage green family. As someone who is kind of iffy on sage greens, I would say this is a really nice one. My swatch is going to be showing this one in 2 coats without any top coat, because again, it dries down very glossy on its own. The formulation on this polish is once again super duper impressive. I feel like this is a fantastic example of like what I expect of an Olive Ave cream. The polishes basically apply themselves. As someone who can very much take it or leave it for sage greens that are this light, I will say that I feel like this one had just enough pigmentation in it that it didn't give off like boring pastel in my brain. So it's gonna remove super duper easy. It's a cream. And the final polish in this collection is called Cornflower, and the brand describes this one as a delicate periwinkle cream. Cornflower also had a fantastic formula. I felt like on the first coat, this one looked pretty sheer, and I wasn't quite sure if it was gonna reach 2 coats for full opacity. I have swatched this one out before, and I'm fairly confident that I always get it in 2 coats. I think I went in for like an exceptionally thin coat this go around because I don't remember my past times wearing this one that it looked that sheer on the first coat. I didn't find the formulation of the polish to be overly thin at all, but it wasn't thick either. It was kind of right in the middle. But as is typical for an Olive Ave cream, I was able to reach full opacity in only 2 coats. I do agree with the brand's color description at this one being a periwinkle. It is a very pale blue, and I feel like it just has like a smidge of purple in it, that it isn't just a pale blue. So periwinkle is very fitting for this shade. As someone who is not in fact a big pastel blue lover, I feel like this shade has just enough saturation added to it where I could actually see myself wearing this one. Actually, spoiler, I have worn this one for a manicure before. As is typical for an Olive Ave cream, this self-leveled perfectly and it basically applied itself. I did not personally experience any staining while swatching this one out, and my swatches show it in 2 coats without any top coat because again, it dries down very glossy on its own. So Olive Ave also sent me over their new long wear base coat. According to the website, Olive Ave says that this one has maximum adhesion for long lasting manicures, UV protection prevents yellowing, and it has a flexible formulation that's ideal for active hands and chip prone nails. So I don't really wear anything long enough to be able to talk about wear time. I did use this base coat in combination with a ridge filling base coat for all of my swatches for today's video, so I can say that it dries down very quickly. And I know for a lot of people, their nails are sensitive to polyvinyl butyrol. According to the ingredients list on the website, that is not an ingredient in this. It does dry down with a very slight stickiness to it. I wouldn't call it fully tacky, but it has like a very slight stickiness to it. So I think it'll really do a good job at gripping your nail polish. I will be playing around with this base coat on my Cindy hand for the next little bit, and I will let you know how I feel about it. Alrighty, so final thoughts time. I will say, as someone who is not really a fan of pastel creams as a general rule, the formulation on these was so freaking good. I say this with my full chest. Olive Ave polish has like top 3 best pastel creams in the entire nail polish space. So I think the color story on this collection is absolutely beautiful. Once again, Walker has a really great eye for color. That is something that I find time and time again with Olive Ave polishes, that the color stories were always really, really pleasing to the eye. As far as my own personal top pick from this release, I'm gonna go with either Terre or Cornflower. Out of all the re-promoted shades, I've definitely worn Cornflower before in the past, so I know I actually do enjoy that one for personal wear, but I feel like I also can vibe with Terre. As far as pricing and sale information goes, the Seedlings bundle is available right now on the Olive Ave Polish website. This release is not considered limited edition, but for Olive Ave Polish, they kind of do their releases seasonally. So they do discontinue shades, but for more popular shades, they do in fact bring them back if customers request them. So nothing is like truly limited edition in this release, but things can potentially be discontinued as we leave spring and enter, you know, the other seasons. Olive F prices their polishes at $14 each, and they have a 14 ml bottle. The Seedlings bundle is available at a discounted rate of $66. The new longwear base coat is also priced at $14. And again, you can pick up everything in this collection or on the website with my affiliate code, which is Nicole Loves Nails. I would love to know what everyone else thought of this release. Are you planning on picking up? Have you already picked it up? Are you a fan of Olive F polish? I know that a lot of y'all are also sparkly lovers like myself, but I will say if you want a really nice cream, Olive F has a fantastic cream. Before we end today's video, I want to give a very special shout out to my channel members, Shenanigans, Story Fans, and Names, of course, all on the screen right now. If you would like to sign up for my channel membership, there is a link for that in the description box, or you can click join next to the subscribe button. But as always, that is completely optional. Just, you know, like the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you have not yet already, and all of that is greatly appreciated. So just thank you all for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a very quick one. I hope everyone has a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! But I feel like I also can vibe with Terre, which I feel like I'm saying wrong. That'd be so funny if I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Let me look that up.
Terre.
What?
Terre.
No, I don't. Terre? Do we have that in English? Terre? Terre? I guess at least I'm not calling it Terry. Terre?
Terre.
Terre? Terre. Terre, 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 terre. Terre, 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 terre. Got it.
When I get high, I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah.